Easy question. What's the difference between this hip and this other one? Very simple. All the surrounding musculature, especially this posterior muscle called the Gluteus Maximus, which has the function of protecting your hip from wear and tear over time. Pay close attention. How thick is it then in today's video? We are going to do a 30-minute routine specially adapted for older people in order to work that Gluteus Maximus, to strengthen the hips, to prevent falls, and to prevent the progression of arthritis. And now let's go with the exercises, for which we are going to need a chair, a towel, and also the broomstick. You already know how much I like it, and a slightly thicker book. The ball is not essential, but I'll use it so you can see the exercises better. What you need is a very long towel. Let's go with the first exercise. We start from the simplest to the most complicated with isometric movements. Remember, isometrics are exercises where a contraction occurs but no movement occurs. There is a muscle activation, but the leg does not move. So what do we have to do? Take that towel that is thicker, crumple it, fold it several times, and place it right under the foot. If you have a ball, better to use a ball. I'm going to use it basically because visually it looks much better. We place that foot over the ball. We end up with a 90-degree bend at the knee level. From here, what I want you to do is to press down and hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll particularly feel the contraction here at the back where the major gluteus is located that I just showed you. I'll grab it again. We relax after counting 5. Look at it, how fleshy it is, how lean. It is located right at the back of our hip. And we squeeze again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to do 10 repetitions together. I relax here. I do it with the ball so you can see correctly how the leg goes up and down. But with the towel, obviously you're not going to see as much movement. 4 and 5, relax. Let's go again. We squeeze 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Relax. Let's go for the 4th. 4. I lift the leg, relax the muscles, squeeze. I feel the contraction in the back of the leg, relax. We have another 5, squeeze hard. Try not to lean on the leg because you would be crushing that ball, that towel with the force of your hand. And that's not what we want. We want the glute work to be independent and that you can crush it by your own means. Relax. 7. We continue. We crush. 8. We only have 2 left to crush. Gluteus maximus is crucial for hip health. 9. We're going to do the last repetition. I crush strongly. And then I'm going to change. Just so you can see that with the towel it's practically the same, but visually it looks different. We place that towel on the floor. I move my foot aside so you can see it properly. And what I'm going to do is squash that towel. It doesn't compress now, as it's not a ball. We will maintain the contraction, however. I feel the muscle contraction, the same in the back of the hip. I relax. I stop squeezing, but visually it's not so easy to follow, right? Because you don't see how I crush and lift that leg, which is basically what we have to do. I relax, so we're going to switch it for this ball so it's easier to follow. I crush 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. We have 3. I squeeze. Four. I squeeze. 5. Let's go again. I squeeze. 5. Very simple. We start from the most basic and progressively advance to much more complicated exercises. 7. I crush. 8. We have 2 left. 9. Last repetition. Let's go with that cushion or towel crush or whatever it is very strong to contract all that posterior musculature. Very well. I'm going to leave this ball here. We're not going to need it anymore. However, we do need the towel and it has to be a long towel, okay? Long? Because what we want is to wrap our legs and work. The medium gluteus, which is a muscle that is more lateral, but also has a key importance in the health of your hip. Look, grab that towel, leave your knees completely together and cross the ends in such a way that, as you see, there is practically a knot between your hands. Pull well from the hands on both sides. You can even wrap around to exert more force. Because what we want is to do an isometric contraction again. I don't want anything to move at my hip level. And basically what I'm going to do is separate both legs at the same time, very, very strong as I can. And what I'm going to do is feel that effort on the side of the hip right here at the level of the middle gluteus. What should we try to do with our hands? Prevent those knees from separating. Okay? Is it not okay to do this? This is absolutely worthless. I want those hands to be there. There should be an isometric contraction, muscle contraction without movement, and you should work it in the simplest way. Isometric contraction is the basis of recovery, strengthening, and the simplest thing, especially for older people. We carry 2, but I separate them strongly. I count to 5, 3, I hold the position, I separate. 4. Let's go for it. I spread legs. 5. I have 5 more left. Let's go for it. I spread. 6. Let's go again. I spread. 7. 2 last reps. I spread. 8 or 9. The truth is I don't know how many are left. 9. We're going to do the last one. I strongly separate those knees. My towel resists it. The muscle contraction occurs on the side of the hip. Very well. A very good way to start working those glute muscles with light intensity. Next, we are going to use our beloved chair. We are going to leave the buttock here. We are going to turn it around. Rather than turning it around, we are going to place it in this exact place. We are going to use the book, which, as you can see, is a fairly thick book. It has a certain thickness, a certain number of pages, specifically 600 pages, and we are going to use it. Basically because I want to stay on the patacoja on the book to have the freedom to work freely with the opposite leg. The chair is going to serve me as a support method. It's important that all these exercises, Anna, when dealing with older people, we do them leaning on something, a chair, a piece of furniture, the wall. The priority is safety and preventing falls. I lean on my chair, lift my right leg, leave this left knee completely straight, and from here, what I want is to take my leg back as far as possible. Hip extension, working the gluteus maximus, you can feel it there as it contracts strongly. And I don't just want to do that, but I also want you to point your toe outwards. Notice how the glute contraction increases when you take it outward compared to forward. You feel it, right? We hold for 3 seconds and return to the starting position. It's important not to compensate. I don't want you to lean forward because we're not working the hip, but we're working the opposite side and the movement is isolated right here at your hip level. Foot out. 1, 2, 3, relax. We're going to do 10 repetitions. Foot out. 1, 2, 3, relax. We're at 3. Foot out. 4. Pay close attention. My body stays still. My hip, my leg moves backwards. 5. I have 5 more left. 5, 6. Let's go again. Extension. 7. Extension. 8. Extension. 9. Last repetition. That 10 is outward. What do you think? Good feelings, right? At the hip level, if you get tired before time, you feel pain, you are not comfortable on one leg, don't worry. Do 5 and stop a little to rest, okay? The routine is not strictly rigid. You can vary the number of repetitions, vary the difficulty of the exercise, depending on your possibilities. Let's go with another leg. I put on the lame foot. Remember, knee very, very stretched. I lean a little bit to lean on the chair, and from here I take that leg back. Remember that the foot now has to point outward, not downward, but outward, to have a greater contraction. Here, at my upper buttocks area. 1, we go again, foot outward, we hold. 2, we relax, foot outward, we hold. 3. Extension. 4. Extension. 5. Let me get back in position. 5. 6. Abdominal contraction, well, more like gluteal. Try not to lean forward, okay? Very important. 3 seconds of contraction to maintain that muscle strength at the end of the journey. 8. 9, last repetition, I return to the initial position and attack again. And 10, we rest, we get off the book, we can walk a little bit. If you notice those hips more worked, and next we are going to work that middle glute. I'm going to show you again what I have on my leg over here. The middle glute is the outermost part of the hip, which is located right here. The posterior part is the major glute. The lateral part corresponds more to the middle glute. It has a fan shape and plays a fundamental role in the stability of our hip, especially when we stand on one leg. We'll leave it here, hoping it stays put. It seems to be secure. We put that book on the floor again. We make sure we are in a safe position, and I want you to get into a squat. We're going to work on abduction again. I want that leg to spread as far as you can. 30 to 45 degrees is sufficient. Make sure that now we don't want the foot to go outwards, but to always stay forward. We're going to feel the muscle contraction right here at the hip level, and that's exactly where the leg, the middle glute, will be located. Let's do it. 10 repetitions. Again, we open. 1, 2, 3, relax. And again, we try not to compensate. I'm not going to lean to one side. I'm not going to make any compensation with the spine. I'm going to work safely with the range of motion of my middle glute. 2, let's go again. That's it. I keep 3 seconds. 3, let's go again. 4, up to count 10. My body is fixed. My support is fixed. 5, let's go again. 6, 7, we have 3 left. 8, 9, last repetition, lateralization, and 10. Good job. Right here is one of those muscles that usually gets sore when we work it correctly. Let's put a little more light. Yes, that's much better. Now you're going to let me turn my back to you and do the same repetitions with the opposite foot. Remember book. We stay stable on the chair, safety first. My hand at waist level and I open outwards. Now the foot is not positioned outward, but that tip of the foot is always facing the wall. 1, 1. I separate. 2. I separate. 3. I separate. 4. We count to 10, holding for 3 seconds. The position 5. 6. 7, very straight leg, both the supporting one and the one that is lateralized. 8. 9, last repetition, and 10. We support the ground well, we rest a little, we walk to release those hips, and we pick up the book since we are not going to need it for the moment. We take this stick and we are going to perform a complex movement, the hinge movement as I call it. It's a complex movement because it focuses on hip flexion, something that we unfortunately have very forgotten, that we avoid when we perform, for example, a movement to pick something up when we want to squat down. The hip flexion or hinge movement is one of the most important to maintain the health of the lumbar area and also the hip. For that, we are going to do it like this. Opposite arm, we place this stick. I want both the buttock area and the nape to be supported at the level of the stick. I want you to stick your chest out. Hold it with your arms if possible. Now pay close attention. Separate your feet slightly with the toes pointing a bit outward. I want you to bend forward. You bend, you bend, you bend, you bend, you bend. Bending exactly here at the hip level, trying to ensure that the stick does not separate at the buttocks level, nor at the nape level. And you, with your hands, can you keep it there closer? To correctly perform the movement, we stand up again, breathe, and go down. How much do we need to go down? Well, everyone will get as far as they can. I already noticed that when I get to that point, the stick starts to come off. So we're not going to cheat. We're always going to exercise within our capabilities. I go all the way down and come back. And what does it do here? The glute? Well, it also does a hip extension, but on this occasion, instead of moving the leg, it's returning that trunk to its initial position. It's a different way to work the strength of the glute. I lean as far as I can and I come back. We've done 5. We change hands to give symmetry to the movement. I stand up straight again. Neck contact at the buttocks level, and I go down as far as I can, don't touch, and I go down more. Notice what happens. That stick comes off, so it's better for me to stay there. 1, I go down again. 2, I go down again. 3, we go down. 4, last repetition. And 5. Very, very good job. Especially at the hip level, but also at the lumbar level, an area that we generally have very, very weak. I'm going to allow myself to leave the cane over here. And we're going to move on to the next exercise, the tape exercise. A very good exercise also to work the gluteal muscles. I didn't mention it before, but the exercises where we were on the book, both the major gluteus that we were pushing back and the medium gluteus on the side, they can get complicated. Placing a weight at the ankle level, thus giving more resistance at the level of gravity. We go with the feint. We can leave this book here because it can also help us to complicate the exercise. What we basically have to do is place one foot on top of the chair. I want you to be well, looking forward. Tip of the foot of both feet, looking forward. And I want you to bring your pelvis forward, okay? I want there to always be a straight line between your shoulder and your foot, your ankle, and that you don't bend forward when doing the exercise. It's essentially a weight transition. Right now I have the weight of my body on my right foot, and if I lean forward, the weight of my body shifts onto my left foot. Doing important work, don't you see it? But it's at the level of the buttock, okay? I lean forward to demonstrate with the other leg for better visibility. During the first lean, I maintain tension in the back area. 1, 2, 3, and I return. What do you think? The more you lean forward, the harder the exercise is. Don't overdo it, all right? We just want some tension. If you're comfortable, lean slightly forward. That's perfect. No need to go further. Adapt each exercise to your capabilities. The important thing is that you do the exercise correctly, that you don't bend forward, and that you feel the tension in the back of the thigh. 4, we're going to do 6 more with each leg, 10 in total. 5, 6, let's go again. 7. These hands, without exerting force, okay, 8, they just rest quietly on my thighs and I remove them, nothing happens. I don't want you to push yourself with your arms. I want it to be a pure leg exercise and that you don't cheat. If you can't continue, don't push yourself further. Always work within your limits. Final repetition. We switch to the opposite side. Support foot on the ground, walk a little bit if I need to, relax at the hip level, and from here very upright, feet looking forward, I lean over. It's my pelvis that goes forward. Weight transition from back to front. 1, relax, let's go again. 2, relax again. 3, relax again. 5. 4, we only have 6 left. Let's go again. 5. 6. As you can see, we are gradually increasing the intensity of the routine. 7, so that you really stay at the level where you feel most comfortable. 1, 8. 9. 10. If the exercise seems easy to you, you can always use the book to raise the foot support. The higher that foot is, the more demanding the exercise will be. So keep that in mind if the exercise seems too light to you. We now continue with a more aggressive hip extension, which is very, very good. I like it a lot, and it adds muscle contraction, it adds difficulty to what we have seen before. We began with isometric exercises, progressed to analytical exercises, and are now focusing on functional exercises. I'm going to position myself a little bit more forward there. Support yourself with your forearms on the latissimus dorsi. The back of that chair can be a piece of furniture. It can be a table where you bend one of the knees and give something backwards, okay? I want you to lift that leg up until the foot is facing upwards, as if it were like a tray on which you want to carry drinks on a table in a restaurant. Lift up, hold as high as you can. 2, come on, again, keep that leg as high as you can. 3. Important that the lumbar area doesn't arch, that it doesn't move much, okay? We want to isolate the exercise at the hip level 4 and eliminate any implication at the lumbar area level. 5. Let's go again. 6. Isolated movement at the hip level. 7. 8. 9. And 10. We rest, we lean slowly, we take off, we breathe a little, we evaluate the hip that hurts. We are going to walk a little, it does not hurt. We start with the opposite leg. Same mechanism, I want you to lean, same mechanism. Without realizing it, I've made a rhyme. Without having noticed, I've made a rhyme. I lean on my right leg, bend my left leg, and from here I lift it up, trying to maintain a neutral position with my body and my lumbar area. 2, let's go again. 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, 10. And 10. Relax. Support the foot. Slowly return to the initial position and notice sensations. Excellent exercise to work all that gluteal area. We are nearing the end of the functional exercises. We are going to do 2 sets of squats, one simpler and another a little more difficult. The first one is called sumo squat, and it's very simple. Even if you are 70 or even 80 years old, you can do it without any problem. We will spread our legs wide, similar to a sumo wrestler's stance. We're going to point our toes outward, as you can see here on the screen, and position ourselves near a chair, a wall, or a piece of furniture. We work within a safe framework and environment. And I want you to go down slowly, very slowly, very slowly. The advantage of these squats is that the knees are always going to go out and there is no risk of there being injury. In fact, squats are one of the best ways to work knees and hips, despite many professionals insisting on downplaying their importance. We descend, and if pain appears, we stay for a couple of seconds before returning to the initial position. Even if it doesn't seem like it, doing that is already a squat. You don't need to lift heavy weights to perform a squat. Basically, just going down, holding for a few seconds within your tolerance of your range is more than enough. 2, if you can go down, well, go down more, there's no problem. Go as far as your body allows and continue. 3. Athletic folks, try doing 4 without touching the chair if you can. You can also do it with your arms in front if you prefer. 5. As you can see, the options are always endless. What do you want to put here? The arms, you can place them here too. 6. Do you want to grab a 5-liter jug between your arms? You can also 3, 7, as long as it fits your possibilities. I have 8 left, only 2. Low. 9, last repetition low, and 10. We breathe a little, we rest, we walk to relax those hips, those legs, and we finish with a slightly more difficult squat, classic squat. Okay? I'm going to demonstrate the exercise from a sideways angle so you can see it from a different perspective. We spread our legs a little bit, not too much. Tip of the foot a little bit outwards, not too much either. Not like before, but about 45 degrees. And from here we're going to lean on the chair we have in front of us and bend a lot here at the hip level. Remember what we did with the stick? Well, we're going to do something similar here, okay? only we're going to go down a lot more and accompany it with the movement of the knees. Pay close attention. It's as if I wanted to sit in a chair that I have right behind me. I go down as far as I can. And I come back. Are you comfortable with shallow depth? Do you desire a fitter physique and wish to make greater strides in your fitness journey? Can you go further? Everyone inside. At that level, we always have to take our knees outwards, okay? Never. I don't know if it can be seen on the camera. We never have to do this movement of bringing the knees together, as it is what could put their integrity at risk. And that's why we place our feet slightly outward. I bend my hips as if I'm sitting down as low as I can, and then I return. Keep the lumbar area straight as well. That's why we have the chair. To avoid doing that, we don't want it. We want to keep the chest up, the head high. 4. We're going to do 6 more. 3. 5. 6. Always reaching a range where you feel comfortable. 7. 8. 9 and 10. It's a routine for older adults, but I assure you, he ended up quite exhausted. That's the end of our 28-minute routine. I hope you enjoyed it, friends. The exercises were simple at the beginning, more difficult in the second part, and much more complicated now at the end. I have only done one set of 10 repetitions of each of them, but if you want to add an extra set or if you want to eliminate any exercise that you don't like, you can do it. Think that it's not a rigid routine, but it's something flexible that you can modulate to your liking and your needs. Remember, it's best to do any exercise, even if it's small, targeted, or isometric. They're not doing anything at all. It's something that you always have to keep in mind. And remember that we have that special event focused on hip pain, the Hip Week, from the 21st to the 27th of April. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching until the end of the video. I hope you did the exercises with me, and above all, I hope you can share the video with people who need it. Now, we all have people in the family with hip pain to whom these exercises can make a big difference in improving their quality of life. Nothing more, I say goodbye to you, thanking you again for your time, hoping to see you again very soon in one of my other videos.